I like the small town atmosphere. It's a little different out here. You know, you don't have 5 guys ready to come screaming to help you if you need help, but
when we catch a case, we work it from beginning to end. So that means I'm talking to everybody that's involved, suspect interviews, witness statements, all of it.
This job can be what you make of it. You know, if you being in a small town, you're not going to be running from call to call to call. But you know, you can find ways to be proactive and be busy.
you have officers that maybe grew up in the community, and so there might be an expectation of,
Well, you know each other since kindergarten, you know, so you're gonna let them go and not me. Well, no, it's not how it is.
the nice thing about being a small town police chief is I still get to go out, I still get to patrol, I still get to go get involved in active cases. I'm not just sitting in an office
Riding a desk?
riding a desk.
We don't deal with it as much, but other places is retention. You know, at a smaller agency, your pay may not be on par with, you know, a bigger agency. We're grateful and thankful here that we earn a good wage here.
The undercover that was making the buy, he was wired up, and the person that we were trying to buy from had made the comment that it's too hot in town, and that the cops are really gung-ho around here. So I take that as a compliment. Yes. I take that as a win for sure.
Welcome to Stafford, Kansas, a small farming town of 920 located on one of America's forgotten highways, US 50. Stafford is also Rebecca's hometown and where we were inspired to launch Tiny Town Tours, a channel dedicated to small towns and the people that make them special. The community of Stafford has openly welcomed our cameras into their lives so we can share authentic stories with you. And as for the local cops, the Stafford Police Department and Chief Carl Wettstein have gone above and beyond by granting us exclusive access into their lives as small town police officers, and now we'd like to say thank you. All right, so with our YouTube channels, we have the privilege of working with some pretty awesome companies, and a couple months ago, we worked with an e-bike company called King Bull, and I pitched them an idea. I picked your brain about it. But they sent their King Bull Rover 2.0 e-bike to the City of Stafford Police Department and to get around town and serve the community.
Right, and it was donated, right?
Yeah, it is donated by an amazing company called King Bull.
Nice.
So a little bit about the bike. 26 by 4-inch tires, fat tires. Disc hydraulic brakes. An e-bike has a 750 watt Bafang motor, and there's a torque sensor, so when you pedal, it will apply power as well. Full suspension, backlit display, headlights, see a 15 amp hour battery, 60 miles of range. That could scoot around the little town of Stafford for a very, very long time.
Yep.
So how's that sound for a nighttime evening e-bike ride along?
Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So right over here is our e-bike. Very similar, but a different model called the Jumper Go, a little more utilitarian. But what do you say we head out for a ride around Stafford?
Yeah, we can go down the street and try it out.
Perfect. Mayor Don Harden is
now,
giving Chief a little tutorial.
Control. Here you go. 1, 2, 3 is pretty good. Your throttle rolls right there.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, you know where the brakes are.
Yep.
Yeah. So you got to start pedaling, and then
no, you can actually literally twist the throttle and go, or pedal with assistance.
Ah, look at that.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
There's horn on there too. You better know where the horn's at.
I found that.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me get geared up for the biking on my end.
I know. We need to get.
You're trying to stop somebody.
We need to get some emergency lights on this thing and a siren.
You don't think the horn will work?
No, I think we're gonna have to probably get They actually make a little light kit for these. I was looking, and then they have a siren that you put on them too.
Nice.
Not that I'd want to make a traffic stop with this. Maybe if I'm stopping a golf cart, but
Well, yeah.
Or another bicyclist.
or another bicyclist, yeah.
There's 4 little girls just went by a minute ago. Maybe we could run them down.
Go chase them down.
I need to see some ID. I need to see some
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it does.
Testing, testing.
Hello?
All right,
All right.
let's hit it. So these bikes, I think, will be really great for the town of Stafford because I have some friends that have driven all the way around the world on various types of machinery, and they say the closest connection they have with humans is when they're on their motorcycles.
Right.
So if that's like the most important thing with law enforcement is a connection to community, these are going to be perfect.
Yeah, these will be good for like the parades and be good for the parades. And then like if the guys want to go down to the school or whatever,
Yeah.
be a good talking point for the kids. Of course, anything that is donated and saves some gas, that's pretty cool too. So
Well,
definitely
let's make a
neat
right
thing.
turn up here by the fire department and do our circle around town. We need to keep Chief pretty close to the station because he's the only one on shift this evening. So let's try to lose the golf cart real quick. Hit that throttle when we turn right.
On the gravel.
Yeah, what the heck.
They got some go to them, don't they?
These things scoot along pretty good.
Yeah, and then, so if you just decide you want to pedal, you just pedal then,
Yeah,
huh?
you just pedal. You have 7 speeds of Shimano gears, a very familiar brand, and all that does is pretty much your resistance on the pedaling. And then you have the digital numbers for the electric throttle. So we'll make a right turn whenever you are ready.
I like that they're quiet too. I can see
Electric
right-
vehicles are so quiet in bikes.
I could see riding these around at night. No one would even know you're out.
Yeah. And with 60 miles range, you can get around the town many, many times over.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably average about, I would say on a normal 12-hour shift, I probably average about 100 miles if I'm really driving.
Yeah?
Depending on if I got to go out to the county or whatever. So
I thought on our video today we would have a kind of a fun conversation about the life of a small town police officer for a few minutes, because it is a completely night and day difference when compared to some of the larger cities in our country.
right.
And the priorities, dynamics, and challenges. I was able to sit down with Dakota a couple days ago and ask him a few questions as well, so we can get a couple of nice perspectives.
Yep.
All right, we can't roll any stops with the police.
Gotta do the traffic stuff. So gotta make sure we're clear traffic down here, which we are. So off we go.
Can't lie, these are pretty fun.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Hell, I kind of just want one just to ride along
Yeah,
in town. Might have to get the guys a better soft uniform though, instead of carrying the plate carrier around.
yeah. The kickstand's right there.
And so is the battery's in here, I
Yeah,
take
the
it?
battery's there, it's locked on. I have a whole package of accessories, like a little toolkit that came with it. Well, we figured out a parking spot for this inside City Hall.
Well, no, not really. I have to figure someplace to put it. I guess we'll just take it to the council room for now, but we'll put it in there, and then we'll figure out a better place for it to keep it. We'll probably keep it back there in the hallway there where the PD's at. I'll let you bring it in here.
This thing is really large. It should almost be measured in hands, how tall this bike is. Okay, we're good. I got the door.
You got the door.
Awesome. We'll let you take that from here and we'll get set up to chat.
What got my interest peaked in law enforcement is when I was in college. I went to K-State, and I was working 2 jobs. I worked for a landscaper in the morning, during the day. I drove a truck sometimes, and then I worked for a tow company at night. And you would ask me when I was in high school if I would have ever been in law enforcement, and I would have told you out of your mind. Never even gave it a thought. But I was working for a tow company, and I got called by Riley County. It was about 2:00 in the morning, and they had asked me to come out and tow a vehicle. And I figured it was just an accident, traffic accident, whatever. So when I get there, they've got the SWAT vehicle out in the front yard. They've got all these guys standing out there, rifles hanging, and they're all talking about they just did this drug raid on this house, and, they found guns and they found drugs, and they got to arrest these people. And just listening to these guys talk, it was pretty cool. And so that's where it sparked my interest. Okay. And so I actually started out my law enforcement career in Liberal, Kansas. I think it was 2002 when I started. I was there for roughly 7 years, and then I went to Sedgwick County. I worked at Sedgwick County, and then I went up to Kansas City, and I worked for a smaller department up there, and I was on task force. And then I came back. I went into the civilian world. I worked for a company. I was there over their trucks and their delivery drivers and stuff like that. I was probably out of law enforcement completely for about a year, and then the bug kind of started hitting me again. And so I went to work part-time for a little department, just working the weekends, some nights. And then from there, I started working with Reno County on the drug task force. I helped those guys quite a bit, and it just kind of fell back into it. I just like doing it. It's what I'll do until I can't do it anymore. So then I ended up out here at Stafford by complete accident. They needed some help, and kind of went from me working part-time for them to doing their investigations and then taking over as the chief. So that's kind of how I got to where I'm at.
Yeah. Sounds like some of the smallest places and some of the largest places.
Yeah, I've worked at big departments, very busy departments, and I've worked at small departments. So I grew up in a small town. Kismet, Kansas is actually where I went to grade school at, but it was like 400 people, 450 people. It's not very big. So I liked the small town atmosphere. It's a little different out here. You don't have 5 guys ready to come screaming to help you if you need help, but it is what it is. We've got good guys on the county, and we all help each other out. So it's a fun time for me.
My name's Dakota Davison. Really, law enforcement wise, I've always wanted to be in the military. That didn't happen. So my wife and I came out here for her job. She's the art teacher. She teaches pre-K through 12th grade, everything. And so, I took on custodial work there, and the guys, through their routine patrols and stuff, they would walk through the school and whatnot, and I'd just kind of talk to them a little bit each morning. And I had heard from a friend that used to be custodial at the school that they had let someone go, or they had an open shift, so they were short someone. So I just kind of struck the conversation with one of the officers, and from there it really kind of turned into a ride-along into just recruitment into the FTO, or field training officer, and then just kind of eased right into academy.
Now, to clarify, you go to all the same police academy as somebody from, we'll say, Overland Park, Wichita, or any of the small municipal police departments, correct?
Yeah, the main one is KLETC, which is Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center, is the main one that's around. So we all tend to get the same education, training kind of stuff.
Keep everybody on the same page.
Yep.
My name is Cole Smith. I'm the sergeant here. I also run the K9 as well. I moved to Stafford in 2017, and on a whim in February of 2018, I knew the guy who was the chief at the time. I went in to pay my city bill. He asked me if I ever thought about being a cop. I politely told him no. He was kind of persistent and talked me into it, and then here I am almost 8 years later now, and been doing it since. So really like the job. I don't like the job. I love the job and the things that I get to do. So
I'm guessing it's about 7 p.m. in the evening on a Friday night. If you were working in one of those big cities, what would you be doing right now or preparing for?
I mean, you would probably be dealing with domestics by now. You'd probably be dealing with, you know, fights, stuff like that in the bigger cities for sure. Probably domestics mostly, or chasing down warrants or something like that. But yeah, it's just different. I mean, you can go to shift at a big agency like that. You open your computer and you've got 12 calls deep that you got to respond to, and they're not all emergency calls, but you know, a lot of people rely on law enforcement, and that's one of the funny things about in today's atmosphere with law enforcement. You know, it's not what it was when I started, you know, 20 some years ago, but you know, people have gone to the way of, some people have gone to the way of law enforcement's not as popular as it used to be, but people still call us, even if it's not popular. So it doesn't change the fact that you're still dealing with the human, you know, the human element of society. So
just on different scales.
Different scales, that's right.
right now, depending on what shift I was working, the department I worked at right now, with it being 3:45, I'd probably be serving civil process. I worked for the sheriff's department in my hometown, running traffic. That was predominantly what we did there. Was, you know, where I worked at, it wasn't like Stafford County where you have multiple different communities within the county. We had one big community in Ulysses with, I think it's 8,000 people in it, and there's one little small community called Hickok, but you know, majority of our calls came from within the city and backing up the city boys. But then after that, I mean, we primarily ran traffic, served civil process, handled cow calls, pig calls, things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I would probably be doing right now.
But in reality, what you're doing right now is you have football practice about to happen, and you're taking a little time to answer some questions.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest challenges facing a small town police department in 2025? Because Stafford is roughly, give or take, 900 to 1,000 people. Very small.
I think the biggest thing that most small departments face is probably the budget. When it comes to, you have to have law enforcement officers to take care of the, you know, the community and the citizens, and you can't expect, you know, one or two guys to police that size of an agent. You know, they would be constantly working. They'd either be on shift or they would be on call, and they don't ever have any time to decompress and unplug. That's probably the biggest thing. Making sure I'm a real proponent for keeping my guys into updated equipment. When I got here, the equipment was in pretty poor shape. And you got to have equipment to do your job just like anybody else. So that's something, playing that budget game, trying to figure out where you can not so much cut corners, but where you might be able to save a little bit here to try to spend a little bit more there. And that's probably the biggest thing. Probably some of the other things on a small department, you have officers that maybe grew up in the community, and so there might be an expectation of, if there is a law that's broken or something's done, there might be an expectation there that that officer's going to maybe look the other way, or that officer's going to be a little bit lenient. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but there are certain things that, you know, we have no tolerance for, you know, DUIs, you know, drugs, stuff like that. But that's some of the things that I would say you deal with on a smaller scale. When I was at the bigger agencies, I mean, I didn't know most people I was dealing with. I had no idea who they were. So there wasn't no personal connection there, you know, and I think that's where some people probably see us as robots and we're just, you know, we don't really show any emotion. Well, we don't have no personal connection to that person. You try to form that. You try to have the empathy and stuff when you're dealing with people that are in crisis to them. But it doesn't always go that way when you're at a bigger agency.
What would you say are some of the biggest challenges in your job as a small town police officer right now, 2025?
Community, definitely. Community policing is a big thing. We're so small, we all know each other. Well, you know each other since kindergarten, you know, so you're gonna let them go and not me. Well, no, it's not how it is. Which, thankfully, I have a very supportive supervisor and chief of police above me that understands the differences of our job and just being kind of nice to the community. You know, they've got my back and I have theirs. Challenges, it's just, I mean, it's really just the community. Policing is a big thing, and on top of just the regular police calls, we get probably not the same quantity of calls as Wichita, but the same crimes. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Definitely.
For a small town, we don't deal with it as much, but other places is retention. You know, at a smaller agency, your pay may not be on par with, you know, a bigger agency. We're grateful and thankful here that we earn a good wage here, much higher than some communities our size. But we also work for that stuff. It's not just given to us. All of our raises and things like that are performance-based, so you don't just get it handed to you. And then the equipment and funding and things like that you know, everybody wants the latest and greatest, but when you're at a larger department, it's easier to cut a check for $50,000, $60,000 when you're dealing with a, you know, $1 million or $2 million budget, where our budget, you know, is roughly around $300,000 for the entire year. Writing a check for $50,000 is a very big ask, you know, that's what we're going through right now is updating body cameras and in-car cameras and things like that, and we just got quotes on that, and for us to do all that, it's going to be $50,000.
Wow.
So that's probably the biggest thing. Overall with law enforcement, I think is just, and I think things are getting better, it's just the overall culture that gets portrayed about law enforcement, and you know, that all cops are bad. I'm going to be the first to admit there are people in law enforcement that shouldn't be in law enforcement, but there's a lot of really good guys, there's a lot of really good cops all throughout the world and throughout the United States and through the state of Kansas. There's a lot of really good cops here in Stafford County, but it just sucks that one bad apple can ruin the whole bunch. You know, just some of the culture of, or the way sometimes media portrays how officers are, and you know, and they call and they ask for better training and better policies and things like that, and there are departments that are trying to get ahead of that, but there's the biggest, and to go back to it, is the biggest thing when it comes to training and things like that is funding, and you never know what you're going to get into on a day. You can show up to a call and it's something that you dealt with a million times, and one thing goes wrong and you don't know exactly how to deal with it. So that's probably the toughest part is, you know, people don't see how hard the job is. A lot of times it's easy to Monday morning quarterback things.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really not, it's not the easiest job in the world. It's not, I mean, driving truck is hard, but I think their situations they have to deal with are a whole lot different than ours. And being a teacher is hard, but again, dealing with the situations they got to deal with is a lot different than what we got to deal with. So, yeah.
Since this is a day in a life video about small town law enforcement officers, what does a day in your life look like?
Oh, depends on the day. We could have a lot of call volume of, hey, so-and-so needs help, or a lift assist of someone, which could pertain to me helping them up physically, or me just kind of blocking the road so that EMS can get to them. Some traffic stops here and there, go eat dinner, work on a case if I have one that's open, try to finish that out before I go on my scheduled days off. But really just kind of helping out depending on if school's in session or not. Like today at 3 I went through and did a walkthrough and just kind of showed our presence and helped out with crosswalk. And
That's awesome.
Just
It's very rewarding.
Yes.
For me, my days have kind of changed now with having the dog. So for me, you know, it's wake up in the morning and go take care of Nitro, get him fed, and do my things around the house and head out. And, you know, I try to be up here at the school every day for crosswalk, things like that. And again, small town, this job can be what you make of it. You know, if you being in a small town, you're not going to be running from call to call to call. But, you know, you can find ways to be proactive and be busy with, you know, being out on Highway 50 where we have thousands of cars come through town every single day, and finding traffic stops that way, or stopping and talking to people walking around town, or, you know, stopping and talking to the kids walking around town with their friends at night, or things like that. You know, it's just kind of a day-to-day thing of, you know, it's what you make of it, really. You can sit around and do nothing, or you can sit around and do a whole lot of things. But it just kind of depends what it is. And there's days, where we are running from call to call to call. But that's far few in between. But you know, we try to you know, immerse ourselves in doing things and being proactive and doing that. And we preach that. Me and the chief preach that, of being proactive and doing things. So.
Mm-hmm. If there was a big city law enforcement officer looking to make a change to a small town department and life, is there any advice that you would give them?
As far as going to work for that agency?
Yeah, it's a big transition.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they were going to go to a smaller agency, they would just have to, obviously they're probably going to be, you know, understand they're going to make less money. It's going to be more affordable to live out here than it is in the big city. Mm-hmm. But then they're also going to have to understand, depends on the background they're coming from. I mean, you have some guys that really like to run traffic, or you have some guys that are very specialized. You know, you got guys that are on the SRT teams, SWAT team, for example. You got guys that are motorcycle units. You have, you know, K9 officers. We have a K9, but someone would come out here and they were expecting to stay really busy just chasing calls because they like to stay busy. That's, you know, I would prepare somebody in that conversation. If someone wanted to come to work for me, I would prepare them if they were coming from someplace like Wichita. Yeah. You know, try to explain to them, hey, this isn't quite as fast paced out here. You can be as active as you want to be. You know, you can go out, you can run traffic, you can you know, try to investigate drugs, you know, do whatever you want to do. I don't have a problem with that, but it's not going to be as apparent.
It's going to be different.
Yeah. It's just not going to be as much of it. Mm-hmm. So, and especially now, I mean, you know, I'm going on, I think, 6 years, and we used to average around 200 to 250 cases a year, which is quite a few for a small town. But like this year, we've just slowly trickled down. I think we're at 91 right now. We're almost at the end of the year. So that's active cases that we've, you know, went down. So we know that the crime's not as bad as it was back then. And that's in testament to the guys that we have on the department. They're all very active and they work really hard. But and just the community involvement between Cole and Dakota, I think it helps a lot to have that community involvement as well.
Well, when we were chatting either earlier today or yesterday, you mentioned that you received quite a compliment from somebody that you're investigating, that the police are really hard on the drug dealers in this town. So yeah. Can you expand on that? Because I have to say, that's quite the compliment.
Yeah, it's an ongoing investigation, but basically, long and short of it, we were attempting to make a narcotic buy. And we had the undercover that was making the buy. He was wired up, and the person that we were trying to buy from had made the comment that it's too hot in town, and that the cops are really gung ho around here. So I take that as a compliment.
Yes.
I take that as a win for sure. So yeah, that was it was pretty funny.
You can pat yourself on the back for that one.
We
That
have it
is
on
really
video.
good.
It's great. So yeah, I like that.
Put that on your CV.
Yeah, I'll put that on there. Put that up on the board. I'll take the win for the team on that one.
Immerse yourself within the community. I think that's probably one of the harder things is you come from a bigger city and you come to a small town like Stafford, and we don't have all the amenities and things like that, but we have a lot of great people and things like that. And if you just focus on the negative of you don't have those amenities and stuff like that, but you get out within the community and immerse yourself. You know, with me, like I coach basketball and football and do other things and stuff like that. You immerse yourself in the community, you really see the positives and everything, and it makes a whole lot of the negatives worth it. You know, I've had opportunities to leave to bigger agencies, better pay and things like that, but the one thing that keeps me here is just the community, the kids, you know, my family being here now. But you know, that's the biggest thing is immerse yourself in the community. Find a way to be involved in any way, shape, or form. You know, like me, my outlet is sports, but you know, our officer like Dakota, his way to probably get involved with the kids is, you know, share his life story and the things that he went through, and he's really proficient in firearms now, and you know, the defensive tactics. I think he could step up someday and be a wrestling coach if he really wanted to. And things like that. So it's finding your niche within the community to immerse yourself in.
What's the most rewarding part about being a police chief or officer in a small town police department?
I think the most rewarding for me is the nice thing about being a small town police chief is I still get to go out, I still get to patrol, I still get to go get involved in active cases. I'm not just sitting in an office.
Riding a desk?
Riding a desk.
Yeah.
You know, I probably spend 30% of my time at the desk, and the rest of it is out either working, helping the guys, being involved in, you know, I'm on the SRT team. It's a joint SWAT team between Pratt County, Stafford County, Barber County. So I have the latitude to do that. A lot of chiefs that are in the big cities, you know, rightfully so, they have a lot of admin stuff that they have to do. They have captains and they have lieutenants and, you know, deputy chiefs. But I get to still go out and play, and that makes it rewarding for me.
So a little less bureaucracy.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a good thing. I think we could all use less bureaucracy in our lives.
Less red tape is always good.
What is the most rewarding part of being a law enforcement officer in a small town?
How would you say that? Self-pride. Just being so small that we are. When we catch a case, we work it from beginning to end. So that means I'm talking to everybody that's involved, suspect interviews, witness statements, all of it. No matter what the case is, if it's a really nasty one or just a simple theft or deprivation of property of a bike, you know. But to see the outcome of that and know that that's something that I worked and figured out what happened, and now so-and-so got in trouble, or the kid gets onto and they get grounded or something for not doing what they're supposed to do or whatever, just knowing that I'm the one that worked the whole case and get to see the outcome of it and how it benefits and changes the town is nice.
Yeah. Closure.
Yeah. Yes. Closure.
Yeah. A positive effect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
The most rewarding part, I think, is just the relationships that you build within everybody in the community. With me, I'm really, I have really good relationships with the kids, obviously through coaching, but I mean, I do other things with them. I'll go up and play ball with them and do other stuff and things like that. I talk to them pretty much daily. And then just with a lot of the adults in town too that I'm friends with or not friends with, I mean, everybody pretty much knows who I am. I may not know who you are, but I know they know who I am. And so I think that's really cool. And you know, everybody kind of knows who my kids are. Whether that's a good thing or not, I'm not sure yet. They're both young, but everybody knows who my kids are and treats them well and things like that. And my family, I moved my parents out here a couple years ago, and they've loved being in the community and being involved in some of the things that they do. And so I think that's probably been the most rewarding thing, is everybody here has kind of welcomed me and my family with open arms, and hasn't really turned us away. And that's not always pretty sunshine and rainbows, but for the most part, it's always a positive thing. And the most rewarding thing for me is just probably the kids, and, you know, getting the thank you coach, I love you coach, or even being up at Crosswalk and all the kids, you know, the elementary kids knowing me and coming up and asking me a million questions out every day after school, even though they've already asked me the same questions the day before. So yeah, that's probably what it is. Relationships with the kids and just everybody in the community.
Guys, like I said, we can use it down at school and for the parades and the fair and football games.
And yet still be minutes away from the patrol car.
Yeah, get back pretty quick.
Exactly. And in this small town, literally, you know, you could probably make it from the highway to here in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Well,
it would be good just to run around. I think it'd be a good thing to have it, especially at night, with the lights on it and stuff. You'd probably.
Well, you could do some surveillance and sneak up on some of the troublemaking households.
That's true. We would look like normal people riding bicycles, I guess. All hours of the night. I mean, I've seen them out at all hours. That's for sure. But no, that's pretty neat. I really like it.
And thank you to King Bull for having a big heart.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big thing. They invest in the community like that, a small community. It's nice.
And have to say, the black and white, it works for law enforcement.
Yeah. Like I said, put a couple lights on there and a little siren, and you'd be good to go.
That's pretty cool.
It actually looks quite official. So by literally being on a bike, you guys are going to have so much better connection with the community.
Yeah, it's more personable. It's face to face. We're not shut off in that concealed environment.
Yeah, a little more approachable for the kids.
Yeah. I know a couple of them that have electronic bikes already that we'd be able to shoot a conversation with.
Yeah.
You know?
Or if there's two people on, shift, one person can just go take a ride around town, swing by football practice, and
go up to the game or something.
Yeah, just show presence.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right, last question. Have you had a chance to ride the new e-bike yet, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually did. Me and one of the deputies took it out, I think a couple nights after it got dropped off, and rode it around town, rode it down Broadway a couple times to see how fast we could get it. I think it's cool. It's going to give us it's a tool now that we have that we can use for a lot of things, whether it be investigations or traffic enforcement, things like that. With us, we have a LiDAR camera, a laser cam, and so we can sit somebody on the bike and be incognito, and they can have the laser cam out there, and or just riding around town late at night, and people see a police car coming, or now we're small enough, everybody knows what our headlights look like and things like that. We can be on that bike, and they might be doing something and have no suspicion that it's a cop on a bike. So it's going to be kind of cool to do, especially to use when the weather gets warmer. I think we're all kind of we like our heat during the winter, so that'll be big.
Chief, thank you very much for spending some time with us this evening.
Thanks for the bike. I appreciate
our pleasure.
King Bull for donating that. That's great. We'll utilize it, and we're going to deck it out with some lights and have some fun with it. So.
And we'll be sure to do a follow-up on it, because this is Rebecca's hometown, and we'll be back.
Awesome.
All right. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah, no problem.
For your time, and we got to hang out again.
Yep, no problem.
The black and white, it works for law enforcement.
Yeah. Like I said, put a couple lights on there and a little siren, and you'd be good to go.
Woo! Just do that.
Happen. Yeah, we can make that happen.
You can recharge your taser on there too.
Or use it to jump start it, I guess, if you need to.
Since I'm a local coach, I'll just teach you how to use siren
Or just bring you along.
Yeah, I could do that too.
There we go. And move the bikes forward a little.
Good? All right. Well, like we...
Just want to get that out of the way before it started. Silence on the set.
Yeah, and you...
As you were saying.
Okay. Well, as we were saying on the ride around town,